Genevieve, you were going to let us know about one of our state representatives.
Yes, the best and the brightest. This controversy has to do with the wonderful Marjorie Taylor Greene. Going back to December 26th, there was a college Republicans Twitter account that tweeted a well-wishing to anybody celebrating Kwanzaa. And Marjorie Taylor Greene did not like that. She said, I quote, "Stop. It's a fake religion created by a psychopath. You aren't bringing in new voters, you're turning them away. People are tired of pandering and BS." Which is funny for a number of reasons. But before I go into that, I should say that Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal Twitter account has been suspended because of disinformation and yada yada. She does still have her congressional Twitter account, so she's not completely off the platform. But first and foremost, I am so shocked. When I read this article, I had to take a step back because I never thought that the wonderful, intelligent, charismatic, beautiful Marjorie Taylor Greene would ever tweet anything that was bigoted or flat out wrong. But alas, color me shocked.
Yeah.
Um, for the record,
Yeah.
that's a big old joke. For one thing, Kwanzaa is not a religion. Malty, you actually took some really great notes about sort of the history of Kwanzaa. If you'd like to elaborate on
Uh,
why this has happened.
yeah. So I'm wondering. So okay, a little bit of backstory. The origins of Kwanzaa. It was first brought up by a political um, professor wanting to combine some of the ideas from Native African religions because he felt that it's something to celebrate during the holidays. That because he felt that Christianity was the religion of the white slave owners, um, and so yeah, a professor Karinga, excuse me, um, did start Kwanzaa. Interesting person. He spent a little bit of time in jail. He was imprisoned for false imprisonment and bodily harm. Though he was um, released from prison earlier than his full sentence and is now a tenured professor at a large university. So there seems to be some strange things there. Karinga also is of the opinion that Jesus suffered from mental illness. He's looking at the Bible, such as John 7:19 through 21, um, and John 10:19 through 20, talking about how people were thinking that Jesus wasn't, um, had some odd thoughts, let's say. Um, so, quoting John 20, the crowd answered, "You demon, who are you trying to kill?" Jesus answered, "I performed one work, and all of you are astonished. None of you keeps the law. You're looking for opportunities to kill me." So again, very interesting. Greene, right wing Republican. I don't know her ideas. Maybe she looks into this guy a little bit, sees kind of what he's talking about, and just flips it to her way of thinking. I don't know how to say what anything more to say.
That was a really nice way of
Yeah.
saying all that, Malty.
Yeah.
You are overly nice, Malty.
I try to avoid conflict whenever I can.
Ooh. Well, okay. Can I bring conflict in here? Because when she's calling religion a fake religion created by a psychopath, guys, how can we break the news for her that she's describing Christianity and most religions, actually? Because, oh, come on. Have you read the Bible? No, nobody who's sane could write that. And yeah, she's describing most religions, and well, something that I think some of you wrote it, but or I read it in the Wikipedia. I don't remember, but she's kind of right that it's not a religion, because it's not a religion. It's just a way of celebration. It's as when this doctor started it, it was just a was it a doctor? Anyways, it was just an option to Christianity, an alternative, so people could celebrate something that is beautiful, that keeps you together with your family, but that of course was not brought by the slave owners that made your whole family suffer during in past, or your ancestors suffer. So I found Kwanzaa, now that I was able to read and learn about it, a very nice and beautiful tradition. I think that the original name is like Kwanzaa, and they added an additional A, so it has the seven letters, so it's more 7 days of the week and all of that, and it's quite a beautiful celebration. I loved it. I wish I could celebrate it one day. So yeah, this person Greene, she seems to be full of hatred towards others in order to say something like that about a celebration that makes others happy.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the first things that struck me about this article. Although it also strikes me pretty regularly, just hearing most things from this representative of ours. It seemed to me the insecurity was so obvious, and I couldn't possibly imagine being so uncomfortable um, with somebody else congratulating a third party about a celebration that I don't fucking participate in. Like, I just couldn't imagine being so upset about that I felt the need to like lash out, especially at it was a college Republican group. Like it was a group that was saying like, hey, we're trying to be inclusive, and we understand that there are humans in our group that don't 100% see eye to eye, and we want to kind of it just it was it was a lot. But also, the other thing that comes to my mind is that moment in A Princess Bride, where he keeps saying inconceivable, inconceivable, and then Mandy Patinkin just turns and he says, why do you keep saying that word? I don't think you know the meaning of that word. So Marjorie, both Merriam and Webster are freely available. You can find them. They're wonderful people, and they will be happy to give you definitions of any word that you are confused about. So for pandering, you will be looking in the P section. So
I am so glad that you brought out that joke. That was beautifully done. This show is not sponsored by either Merriam or Webster,
we are not.
but I do want to talk a little bit about what Malty brought up about the origins of Kwanzaa, because I guess I have a lot of feelings about it, because Doctor, I'm so gonna butcher his name, and I am so sorry. My name has been butchered. I hope that we have a little camaraderie, but Malana Karenga, he had a history starting these organizations. He was part of Black liberation movements, and we're talking about in the 60s. So absolutely, like, yes, please, please, like, this is so necessary. um and at one point, one of the organizations that he started, which was called, I don't know if it was US Organization or Us Organization, they sort of splintered from the Black Panther Party because they disagreed on some ideas about Black nationalism. And they actually got into some shootouts and some fights, which were then exacerbated by the FBI, because they sent different letters to each organization pretending to be the other one, it's sort of inciting this violence. And that is just one instance of many instances in the last 400 years prior to this country even being a country, in which white people in power have degraded and just terrorized Black people. And so the idea of Kwanzaa, putting Dr. Karenga aside, because I do have a lot of issues with some things in his past, not just speaking about the charges that he was arrested and imprisoned for, which he denies, but also his ties to the new Black Panther Party, which is considered a hate group. There's a lot there that I don't necessarily agree with, but I completely and wholeheartedly understand and admire his reasons for starting Kwanzaa. I mean, when we're talking about the plight of African Americans in this country, like their traditions, their roots, their language, their religions, their countries of origin, all of that knowledge was stolen from them when they were taken from their land. And I think that anything that we can do to celebrate Black culture in this country, because they literally built this country, I think that's phenomenal. And the last thing that I really want to say about it after all of it is that it's funny that Marjorie Taylor Greene would tweet something so stupid, because Kwanzaa is not a religious holiday. It's literally just a celebration of Black culture and bringing back those roots that we chopped from them when we stole them and enslaved them. But she was fighting against a tweet by the college Republicans. And I will call out Republicans, and I will also call out Democrats to say it's cute and it's nice that you tweet celebrating Kwanzaa, but it's not like any of you are actually putting towards like policies that uplift Black Americans, because we're not separated from this issue. Like like Black people in this country are still horribly oppressed and deal with systemic racism every day, and there are real things that we can do. There are economic and criminal justice and social policies that we can implement to change this, but instead it's just, oh, happy Kwanzaa, everybody. And she has the audacity to get mad at even that. I wish I were surprised, but alas.
Malty, Teo, do you guys just want to let Genevieve run the rest of the show by herself? She's killing it.
Wow.
Stop.
Totally
I think-
I
awesome.
have things to say.
Well,
Please.
I think that last little bit that you said there is really important about there are some good aspects and there are some bad aspects, both the individual and the history related to it. But that should be what our goal is, right? As individuals that are really interested in trying to better society, not just for ourselves, but everyone, not just for our tribe, not just for our group, but for all of us. And if that's what we're here to do, then yeah, let's parse out the good and the bad and let's chat about it and try to get more of that good. But yeah, just once again, I have to say, oh, come on. Getting mad about somebody else congratulating Sonia
Yeah.
Hall. Come on. It's just silly. Oh.
I
Playing
guess
to her base, I would say. I think we're there. There might be a few spots here today where we'll be talking about Christians feeling persecuted. This being one of them.
yeah, totally. I guess
Big
my
deal.
final message could be, politicians, please don't just remember Black people during Christmas saying Happy Kwanzaa and during Juneteenth. Uh, they are alive there, living in your country the whole year. Please do something about some of the terrible situations that they had to go through. We have been talking about many of those situations in here. I don't even remember the names right now, but people keep getting killed, discriminated. Certain white people, I'm not going to use certain words, but call on Black people just because they are walking on the street. And that shouldn't be happening in a first world country, in any country. It shouldn't happen anywhere. So please, people, do something about it, please, and stop doing stupid stuff like complaining that other people are remembering other people. Like, it's no, I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to say, you're totally right, guys. Whenever you complain about other people, telling other people celebrate your things, it reminds me of those straight guys who are complaining that gays are going to marry. Is that jealousy? What's wrong with you people?
Well, the last two things I'll say is that if you don't say Merry Christmas, you're committing a hate crime against white Christians. And
Nice.
for everybody out there, whether you're the college Republicans or Joe Biden's presidential account or anybody, don't just tweet about it, be about it.
Actions. Yes.